Hello and welcome to Eye of Gnosis Tarot. My name is Ewan and today we are doing a Celtic Cross reading for the sign of Scorpio. And this is for Scorpio Sun, Moon or Rising signs. And if you don't resonate with what is here today, do go and look at your other placements in those positions. Unless of course you have Scorpio in all three, which would be quite rare. And if that was the case, then I am sure there is probably something for you here today. And something I'm just going to add, I haven't added to the other videos. But if whatever signs you have in your chart, do just go and have a look at those previous videos with relation to what I'm about to say. And that is taking a look at your ruling planets. So traditionally, Scorpio, that is Mars. And have a look at your ruling planets placement. So here today, you are Scorpio and you don't resonate with what is here today, go and have a look at what your Mars is in and go and look at that reading and see if it resonates particular in that area of life. So Mars is about doing things. It's an active energy. But I'm pretty sure that if you have a lot of Scorpio in your chart, or if you're Scorpio Sun or Rising at least, there'll be something for you here today. And as ever, we'll be using the Thoth Tarot and the Celtic Cross spread. If you don't know what it is or what the positions are, I will be talking through it as I do the reading. However, I have also done a video which you can go and look at, which explains the Celtic Cross as well as the philosophy of tarot. So, Scorpio, I ask you now to just enter this moment with me where we put aside all the external worries and troubles in our lives, and as we enter this sacred space, just to be mindful of what cards could be showing you, what they're implying perhaps in the conscious, the subconscious or the unconscious of your mind. And now we will begin the reading with the card at the center of it all, the Hermit. Okay, so this is Virgo energy. The Hermit, we have just had Mars enter Virgo, your ruling planet entering the sign of Virgo. And the Hermit is all about taking some time for yourself, not necessarily always alone, but can be alone, to look for spiritual insight and depth. If we look at the card here, the Hermit himself has the head of the Egyptian god Thoth, who is Mercury, and Mercury rules Virgo. Looking away from death, represented by Cerberus, which is, funnily enough, you, Scorpio. He has the light here, and he's looking at the cosmic egg, which represents consciousness, or God, or the universe, source, however you know it, the whole, the total of everything. Okay, so before we go into further depth into what that might mean for you, Scorpio, we're going to look at the rest of the reading. So now is the challenge card. This is something that can perhaps be an obstacle, something to overcome with relation to the Hermit. We have the Ace of Wands, so that is new beginnings. And very specifically, new energetic beginnings, new beginnings in the most total sense. The Ace of Wands is the first minor arcana of the entire tarot, first spark of creation. So perhaps creativity is having a bit of a problem at the moment, Scorpio. Perhaps there's a sense of having to retreat into yourself because of a new beginning. A difficult new beginning. Perhaps there's a lot of things ending in your life at the moment. Or it could be that you're lacking the energy to do either the internal work or start this new beginning after or during the internal work that you're doing, Scorpio. And when I say internal work, that could be on your own or not, again. Whether you take a literal or not a literal interpretation of the Hermit card, of course, all tarot cards can be taken as both. So what's going on in the conscious, I think this will help flesh out what's going on here, Scorpio. So the conscious we have the Queen of Discs, who is one of Capricorn's court cards. And the Queen of Discs is the water of Earth. If you look here, she's looking over a desert with several oases and a river. And she's essentially nurturing her seeds that she's planted, or at least the seeds that were planted by the Knight of Discs. And she has great power in that respect, and great responsibility as well. And this is why it's a Capricorn card. So I feel like this is perhaps maybe a difficult new beginning, or it's difficult gaining the energy at the moment, Scorpio. But this is definitely something that you want to do. You've chosen, I think here, at least from what I can see so far, to be alone or to take some time to look deep inside yourself. The reason why you've chosen this is because you want to nurture either these new beginnings or nurture the energy that you've taken from endings in your life. But we don't know that for certain, so we're going to look at the unconscious. What's driving this need to nurture these beginnings? And there we are. Nine of Cups, a fellow water sign of yours. This is Jupiter in Pisces. And we had just had Jupiter move into Cancer, actually. But Jupiter in Pisces is happiness. So the pursuit of happiness has caused this to begin now for you, Scorpio. Taking this time either on your own again, or just time within to nurture your happiness. Or the other way around, you feel happy and you want to nurture it. But there could be some obstacles in the way at the moment, Scorpio, which are preventing you from, or at least you feel like they're preventing you from starting. But never forget, there is always only the present moment, and you have ultimate power over your choices. You could be that you'd have to sacrifice a lot. Of course, if we get the Hangman in the shadow card position, then we'll maybe not sacrifice things. But we'll see what the rest of the reading holds. So what's been in the near past for you, Scorpio? What has perhaps fueled or triggered this happiness or need for happiness? Valor. So that is the Seven of Wands. That is Mars and Leo. Mars has just exited Leo, which is quite fitting, and gone into Virgo, which is the Hermit. And this is fighting for what you believe in. You will be the last man or last woman standing in order to get what you want, to be who you want to be. There's been, again, I use the word great sacrifice because I always use the Pyrrhic victory as the analogy for the Seven of Wands. So everyone in the battle, apart from one person, might have died. That one person means that that side won the battle. All sevens tend to be quite difficult. The Seven of Wands is perhaps the easiest one, but even then, if you think about it, think of all those people that died in the battle. So you might have already sacrificed quite a lot, Scorpio. You might have fought through a lot of things, and you've won, but you do feel like you perhaps do feel that you're exhausted. You perhaps feel like you've won, but you've lost a lot already. Whether that be time, resources, energy, emotional capacity, because we can get emotional burnout. Any of these things. I think it's energy, because it is the Wands, and potentially time as well. But we'll see what's going on in the near future for you, Scorpio. What will you have been fighting for? I think that's a sentence. Okay, let's have a look. Completion. That's rather beautiful, that, Scorpio. Another Wands card. We've got quite a bit of fire energy here. So the Wands are not only energy, but they are consciousness in its most expansive form. And when we get the divide of doing and being within consciousness, so the masculine and the feminine, when they realize that they are one, this is the three, virtue, and when they come back together again, is the Four of Wands, And this is why it's completion. The completion card is associated with a relationship between the masculine and feminine, whether that be literal between two partners, no matter what the gender is. That's why we get the golden ring here, because traditionally in tarot this is associated with, very traditionally weddings, but any kind of partnership. And we see here we've got the ram's heads, which is Aries, Mars, and we have the doves, which is Venus. So this is Venus in Aries. Mars rules Aries, just as it rules you, Scorpio. We're seeing a lot of Mars basically here at the moment, which is quite interesting. So something is coming to completion. Something's coming together. The doing and being of life, the doing and being with another person, the doing and being with a group of people, or family. I think the environment will help. When we get to the environment card, this will help flesh out what it perhaps is or will be. So what's on your mind at the moment, Scorpio? It's also an advice card. So this is self-image and advice for you, Scorpio. Peace. Okay. Two of Swords has a lovely name, Peace. The Two of Swords, as with most Swords card, is still quite a difficult card to work with. This is Moon in Libra. This is taking the time to stop again, like the Hermit. Look at both sides of the argument, but not necessarily making a decision about them yet. This is a very archetypal card for Libra. It's about indecisiveness. And perhaps the advice here is to weigh up your options, and weigh up your options psychologically about the way you think. This isn't material. This isn't the Two of Discs. This is weighing up your options in terms of your mind. In other words, am I going to be self-deprecating, or am I going to love myself? Am I going to be negative? Am I going to be positive? There's going to be some duality going on. And the advice here at the moment, so you may see yourself like this, like I feel like I'm in this dualistic mindset at the moment. And the advice is perhaps to either overcome it or process it. Or just sit with it and study it in your own mind. Be mindful of your own inner duality, Scorpio. Okay. And that is the environment card, which I just feel that this is going to be very important for this spread in particular. What's going on around you, Scorpio? It's affecting the cards we see today, and I think particularly affecting that Four of Wands. And we have the Ten of Cups, which is beautiful because it comes, of course, after happiness. Nine of Cups. There's satiety or satiety. Both ways of pronouncing it are valid. And I think this is spirit, source, energy, consciousness telling us here, telling you, and you perhaps feel this, that everything you need emotionally is there. And we've had that, I think we had this in the environment in a previous reading, where the Virgos or Libras, I can't remember. And again, this is all the emotional resources you have or could have are there. They are there in the environment around you. You have people that love you. You have people that care for you. You have people who are happy to share their own emotions as well. So this sense of fulfillment is available to you in the environment around you, Scorpio. And this is emotional fulfillment. This is the limbic system, the mammalian brain, feeling comfort and security and safety. Safety as opposed to looking for safeness, or was it the other way around? I'm trying to remember the duality of safeness and safety. But essentially you get the point that you might not feel like you're in a secure environment. You've fought this battle, but weirdly, you are safe because you're the last one standing. And as you've come through the other side, funny enough, I said last one standing, we've got the Hermit card here. As we come through the other side, you've got this ring, this community around you. And it could only be a couple of people, it could even be one person, but whatever this is, family, friends, partners, business, any environment you find yourself in at the moment, Scorpio, the emotional well is there. It's happy to quench your thirst, and it's also willing to take what poisons, I suppose, might be there that's still affecting you. And of course, this is probably the well that the Queen of Discs is using to nurture her crops. And if we can do indeed actually look at the Hermit card, we see all these sheaves of wheat behind him. And in a more literal sense, actually, we see rather strangely a sperm cell here, because it's to do with fertility, and that taking time on your own, or being mindful, doing meditation, going deep inside yourself is a fertile act. It creates beautiful new things and helps fertilize the cosmic egg, which is you, the consciousness. Sorry, I'm just straightening up the cards. Get them all wonky. There we are. Okay, hopes and fears. Hopes, dominion, choices. So you have this energy, you don't quite know what to do with it, or you can't find it. So this could be the hope that you have energy enough to spread around, or if you already do have the energy, Scorpio, this is about I need choices in life. I need directions, but not necessarily direction yet. I think this is what the Hermit's doing, is trying to find that direction, hence the challenge with the Ace of Wands. And I think really what this is saying with the Hope card, the Two of Wands, Dominion, is that it's not that you have lots of options and you don't know which one to choose. It's rather, I would rather be given options so I can choose, I think, at the moment, Scorpio. I need paths in which I can go down to make me happy, to nurture this completion. Whether, again, this is to do with career, relationships, family, friends. There are pathways you, I suppose, are hoping will open up to you at the moment, because this isn't the I've got too many choices. This is I need choices, because then I think you will know which is the one that's right for you, Scorpio. If you're given all choice, it's a bit like those things they do when they're trying to work out who's the criminal, and they get all those people in the lineup, and they're able to pick, the witness is able to pick which one did the crime because they've been given the choice. I feel like you, particular Scorpio, with your very discerning mind, that you'll be able to go, when I see it, I know it. When I see it, I know what I want. Fears, however, funny enough, is the Nine of Discs. Now, Nine of Discs is actually usually a card that's really easy to work with. It's called Gain. This is usually some sort of material gain, it is discs. I think why it's in the fierce position here, Scorpio, is that whatever this completion is here, I feel, and this is very pertinent for you, Scorpio, because you are a water sign, you don't just want it to be a material thing. You don't just want the job, you want a job you enjoy. You don't just want a partner, you want a partner who feeds your emotions, makes you feel something. You want a family that cares about you with their heart and not just with their hands, giving you things. I think the fear here is whatever this completion is in the future, Scorpio, and also what you fought for, you don't just want to fight for material benefits. Of course, material benefits are wonderful, and I don't think you would deny them. Of course, this is an Earth card. You're feeding your material, you're nurturing your material wealth. I think that's for an environment in which love and happiness can flourish, and not for its own ends. So you don't just want a big house, you'd want a big house in which to share that with friends or a family, or to start a business that means something meaningful to you, like you can make it into a clinic or something to help people. The material gain is, you don't want that to be its own means to an end. Instead, I think you'd rather have these options to fulfill you emotionally. And I keep saying that, but it's just what I'm seeing in the cards. It's right there. And I think what the advice card here, self-image, is, it's almost like saying, before you hope for your options, just sort out what's going on in your head first. But we'll see. We'll see what's the final outcome. So the final outcome is the Fool. So I think what this is really saying is that when you've sorted out this duality that's going on in your mind, and you are given the options, throw yourself into it. The Fool is consciousness, and I think this is actually quite a very deeply spiritual reading. We've got a lot of fire energy. We've got the Ace of Wands. We have, of course, the Hermit and the Fool. And they're the two major arcana that you have here, the Hermit and the Fool. And the Fool is, of course, just pure consciousness. So much so that it's unaware that it is the universe. It's like a baby staring out. It is what a baby's doing when they're just staring out. Before their little proto-egos take over and they're like, oh, I need food, I need to feel warm, and then they start crying. But no, when they're in that state of wonder, that is the Fool, the pure consciousness. There's no little proto-ego taking over at all. They're completely free in their minds. And I suppose what this is really saying, Scorpio, is that if you choose the option, again, you've got all those options, you're hoping that they'll come. And if they do, and you know which is the one that is right for you, this reading is really telling you to go for it. And to really throw yourself out there if you want this completion. You want this happiness in your life, because when you know the right time, you know the right thing that is for you, it will be for you. And the Fool is really confirming that. And again, it's not based on this material, not based on the material benefit or gain of the thing. It's about being very mindful about your options, and when your intuition says, this is it, go for it. And I do think now this is really, really stressing the point of this Ace of Wands as a challenge. I don't think you want to get it wrong. You don't want that Ace of Wands to be a waste. You don't want the flames on this burning torch to be blown out. There's maybe perhaps a fear of new beginnings, or that there's simply not the energy there for the new beginning yet, or just not the options. And again, that's where we have the Two of Wands in your hopes position, Scorpio, because you're hoping you'll have this option. Because you feel perhaps that you're stuck on one track at the moment, or you've been stuck on one track most of your life. Perhaps you've been forced into a pathway. Now we're really spreading our options, and hopefully with the diversity we shall see what we need. And funny enough, the ring of the completion is a 0, which is what the Fool is. And of course, if you turn the wheel on its side, you get the letter I, the self. It's a little reference there to Elder Scrolls lore, if anyone knows that, which is a meta commentary on mysticism. So Scorpio, I think you have been, let's summarize this, you've been fighting through something. I don't know for how long. These are the time context is entirely down to how you see this reading in your life. You've got through it, you've been bloodied and battered. Taking some time either on your own or to go deep within yourself. There is this challenge, and the challenge is, again, I've either been forced into one option and or I don't have the energy to do it, and or the new beginning is perhaps either difficult to do, or I don't know if I should do it or if I can do it. However, you really are pursuing this happiness and you're trying to nurture it. You're nurturing it with your emotions. And if you do this, the spread is suggesting that you will find what you need. You'll find completion, whatever that means to you, Scorpio. I do think this is in a higher sense as it is the wands. However, the spread is reminding us to be mindful at the moment and weigh up our options, particularly in our mind, the way we're thinking. Perhaps is being mindful about being mindful. But you have the environment around you to support you through this. The pets, the people, the plants. I've heard another tarot channel say they're all there with you. You've got a giant well in which to nurture your future. And you want these options available to you so you will know which is the right one for you when you see it. And you don't just want it to be shallow and material. You don't just want to win the lottery, for example, and spend it all on luxury items. It would be about fulfilling this dream, this completion. If you did, and even if you didn't, that doesn't matter, because what you're doing now, this introspective work, is towards completion. And finally, when you see the path for you, Scorpio, when you've done this inner work, you've done the mindfulness, throw yourself into it. You have nothing to lose. You've already won the battle. Do it. And don't be afraid. So, what do we think the shadow card is? So, for those that don't know, the shadow card is a card I take from the bottom of the deck. And this acts as a warning or just something to be mindful of. So, warning if it's a very intense card, perhaps. Something to be mindful of, a little less so. Now, I think this could be it's quite cliche to say it, the devil card, warning us not to become too engrossed into the material aspects of our lives, or alternatively, a complete flip of that, it could be not to fear the material benefits of life, like, for example, the body. Don't fear that. This is Venus in Virgo. So Venus is all about sensuality, the physical body, and Virgo is, of course, the physical world and fertility within the physical world. That's why Virgo is the sign of the harvest time. So I think it might be the Devil card in terms of major arcana. It could also be the Wheel of Fortune, reminding us not to put things to chance here. I think this is very much being discerning and picking your options, picking your battles and picking your options. And it could also be the Eight of Cups, so don't give in, don't give up with this fight, so to speak. Don't be let down if the torch does get blown out, just relight it. And I think I'll leave it there with the predictions, because I could just go on for cards and cards and cards. So let's see what it is from the bottom of the deck. We have the Four of Swords, which is quite an easy one to interpret here, because we have the Two of Swords already here. So the Four of Swords is the agree to disagree. And this is warning us not to become stagnant in this mindfulness that we're doing here, Scorpio. So it's not telling you to, I was going to say don't overthink it. But when I say that, I don't mean overthinking in terms of, say, the Nine of Swords, which is self-attacking, or the Prince of Swords, which is in a similar vein. It's like pushing yourself forward and over-analysing things. This is overthinking in terms of, if you just stay in the state of weighing up your options, you will get nowhere. This is called the Truce card. In other words, it's asking you not to make a truce with where your life is at the moment, not to be satisfied with what you have at the moment. It's asking you to do the inner work and pursue your happiness. If there's something that doesn't feel right at the moment, sort it out rather than mull over it until you come to the conclusion that there's nothing I can do about it. This spread is saying no to that. You can do something about it. You have been doing something about it. Why would you stop now? You want the Four of Wands, not the Four of Swords. Okay? All the fours are some form of stability, but the stability of the mind we see here is not like the Six of Swords, which is complete objectivity and being truly mindful. No, the Four of Swords is stability in that I'd rather not think about it. I'd rather agree to disagree with my own mind and not have to deal with it. Hence truce. And for those of you who know the tarot, the card that comes after that is the Five of Swords. And you can't stop yourself from thinking. The goal of mindfulness is not to stop thinking. The goal of mindfulness is to be able to hone your thinking into the Ace of Swords. To be quick, clean, clinical with your thinking. No, the Four of Swords will automatically become a Five of Swords at some point, because you'll always be thinking. And if you allow this to stay the same as it is at the moment, Scorpio, if you allow this to stagnate, it will just become a defeat in the end. You will have defeated yourself. And no one likes a Five of Swords. So keep pursuing that happiness, Scorpio, and that sense of completion that will be coming in your future if you allow yourself to throw yourself into whatever option you know is right for you in your life. So that has been your reading today, Scorpio. I hope you are okay at the moment in this hermit-like state, whether you are alone or just taking that time for yourself to go into yourself. And if you have found this reading useful for you, whether you're a Sun, Moon or Rising Scorpio, or indeed if you have your Mars in Scorpio, then please do hit that like button, as it really helps the channel. It helps spread the knowledge of tarot out there to the world. And do, of course, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more readings like this for the other parts of your chart. Again, if you didn't resonate with today's, you can go and look at your other placements. So you might have a Scorpio Sun, but you might have a Gemini Rising, or a Sagittarius Rising, or a Capricorn Rising. Or you might have an Aquarius Moon or a Pisces Moon. In that case, do go look at those readings if I've done them, and see if they resonate with you. So, yep, that has been your reading today, Scorpio, and I hope you are okay, and may peace be with you wherever you are in the world. Goodbye.